All right, Week 9, Monday Night Football. Steelers host the Bears. Steelers 7-point favorite. With that, to the checklist. We start at the top where we always start. Rush attempts. Who we like?
So Bears are 50% run, 50% pass, or number one in the league. Right? Sent you that earlier.
You sent me that earlier, and it's not as heavy. Justin Fields. What did you send me? Like 6-7 carries a game for Justin.
Right. You got David Montgomery coming back tonight. He should be all right. Should have a workload. So you got about 15 for him, 5 for Justin, and then we'll give 5 to Herbert. So that's 25.
25. How does Steelers match up against that number?
So they started out the year, they refused to run the ball like always. However, in the last 3 games, they are 5th in rush attempt percentage. So they've ran the ball 48% of the time in the last 3 games. And guess what they've done the last 3 games?
I think they put together a nice little winning streak.
Right. Isn't that weird?
Weird how that works. He said that a long time ago.
Najee could get about 24 carries, and then you can get maybe 1 out of Deontay. As long as I really don't think they're going to win rush attempts tonight, but as long as it's close, I think they can survive.
All right, so you got to Mike Tomlin's burner and told him to run the ball, and here he is running the ball.
I mean, we tried. So we looked at Justin Fields and the Bears, and if they win rush attempts, they're 3-2 straight up and against the spread if they win rush attempts. When they do not win rush attempts, they're 0-3. So it doesn't really coincide with it. And then we looked up. So I don't think Pittsburgh has the best stout run defense, but apparently they're the 7th in DVOA in run defense. So, yeah.
So outside the second half against the Seahawks, they're pretty good against stopping the run.
That kind of killed them, yeah, a little bit, yes.
All right, so there's rush attempts.
Rush attempts, you got to favor the Bears.
Very well. So let's go bigger. Let's go drives and red zone. Who has the edge in the red zone department?
So again, as of late, so usually they both average around 2, and the Bears offense, I think they're 32nd in passing DVOA. They're a run first team somehow. That's where all their success comes from. Pittsburgh's not much better. So you're looking. I had it as Pittsburgh getting 4 red zones tonight because there's no Khalil Mack, no Eddie Jackson, and they're hurting. Versus 2 for the Bears. So granted, if Pittsburgh can score when they're in the red zone, they can easily cover that 7. We need to have them score once more than the Bears. So if the Bears go 2 for 2 in the red zone, we need Pittsburgh to obviously go 3 and 4.
Got it. And then
it's got to be the edge to Pittsburgh.
So as far as driving the ball down the field, we have a strong running attack last few weeks of the Steelers. How's the Bears defense stopping the pass?
Stopping what?
The pass.
Not nearly as good as they were. So they lost Vic Fangio. It's not the same. Not the same defense.
True or false? Bears are dead last guarding the number 1 receiver.
That is 1,000% true. I wonder who told you that.
I think you did earlier. So that means Deontay Johnson, the primary, most targets so far.
Big night for Deontay.
So
real quick for rush attempts. So both teams, Bears are 30th and 31st in open field and second level tackling. Pittsburgh's not much better. Minkah Fitzpatrick 78th out of 82 or 84 safeties or something. Not great.
So whoever makes the fewer missed tackles here.
Missed tackles is going to be a big deal, especially when you get past the defensive line. You get that second level. We'll say maybe Schobert helps out more. Maybe Devin Bush steps up. I don't know. It just doesn't look great for the Bears either, though. Neither team does this well.
All right, so rush attempts, Bears, red zone, Steelers. Moving on to injuries, I heard you talk about 2 key members on the Bears defense.
You asked me how the Bears pass defense was the 13th.
13th.
So not great.
Okay. So what do we have for injuries? Bears missing 2. Juju's out for the Steelers. Forget about him.
Well, we know Juju. So Ebron's out, so it's a free move game again.
Freiermuth, Penn State guy.
Freiermuth and Gentry at the tight end position.
Jesse James revenge game?
J.P. Holtz is out, so yeah. I mean, Jimmy Graham and
Cole Kmet.
So No Damian Williams tonight, which is kind of a big deal, but they do get back Montgomery. No Foles. Nick Foles is out. So there goes your third string quarterback.
First
I know
string
you're
in our
big
hearts.
on that. I know you're big on third string QBs being out.
You got to know where the emergency quarterback is at all times.
Oh, it's not emergency. It's not even active. 99% of them aren't active. Joke. So Eddie Jackson's out. That's a really big deal. Khalil Mack is out. That's a really big deal, dude. So they're missing they're missing their two best players in defense. They're already struggling enough to begin with the point, let alone now missing both. So the Bears were number one in sacks. I guess we'll get to that in offensive defensive line.
Well, so when you said that they're bad against, second level tackling and bad against covering the number one option, that's with those two Bears that are out tonight.
Yes. Houston Carson he's a fill-in for Eddie. He played really well. So, I mean, he could shock us. I mean, he played really, really well.
So, head-to-head, Steelers get the injuries box.
I mean, it's not really a matchup thing, but yeah, if you're going by injuries, yeah, absolutely. Right. I guess Boswell's all right. He's going to be kicking some field goals.
That's good. Hopefully there's no fakes in store. Tomlin cost his team 5 points, being an idiot.
Maybe don't throw. Ben had an LP, and then an FP. So at least he practiced somewhat this week. So you see Ben struggling every week, and it's a lot like last night where Stafford didn't practice all week. You got to practice. Ben never practices and then struggles on Sundays until the second half. But it just is what it is. You got to fucking practice.
So you brought up last night where it kind of turned when there was 2 turnovers back to back, led to 14 points. Either of these defenses forcing turnovers?
So the Steelers are awful at gaining interceptions or forcing takeaways. So they're overly due for a big night of like a 3 INT game, which good luck for them. Justin Fields the best at protecting the football.
Jeez. All right, take it to the offensive and defensive lines. You've hinted at things already. Expand on that for me.
Oh, they're both awful. Bears were number one in sacks and pressure, and obviously without Khalil Mack. I mean, they still have, Keem Hicks and Gibson and all, but it's just, not the same. Pittsburgh can get pressure. They had TJ Watt out for a little while. He's got some Lucas Bourne or something like that at right tackle for the Bears. TJ Watt could kill him. It's a big edge to the Steelers, actually. Because Ben gets rid of the ball and doesn't get sacked that much. Justin Fields is the number one sack quarterback in the league.
Yeah, it goes back to Ohio State. He holds on to it a little bit too long, huh?
But not only do the Bears give up the most sacks, they also get the most sacks, but maybe not tonight. We'll see. But I doubt it without Mack. It's a big deal. So Justin Fields could get murdered tonight by a Wormley, hit or a Hayward hit or a Highsmith or a Watt. Or there's a lot of weapons there.
So the preseason, a lot of attention on the Steelers. All the rankings rank the offensive line unit dead last. Sounds like they've at least moved to 31, and the Bears are now that dead last offensive line?
I mean, I think Fields just can't process the field, which I told you a billion times now.
Yeah.
Not quick enough processing what's going on in front of them quick enough. This is a night where the Steelers can cover if they, at some point, they're going to have to show up as a favorite. At some point, Tomlin's got to look at his guys and be like, hey, we're not taking care of, we're playing down the competition every single time. Like, they have to do that. Is Pittsburgh talking about that? Do they know this up there?
You would think. I mean, a lot of times when these mushes happen, it's because the teams are thinking the same thing that people are thinking. So we're thinking the Steelers stink and prime time is a big favorite.
Right, but are people in Pittsburgh, do they know this?
Yeah.
So that they're aware of this. Are they asking Tomlin anything about it? Like, hey, what's going on with fucking being so fucking shitty when you're favored?
Yeah, obviously we know we gotta do a better job. And
did he actually answer that at all? Or?
Yeah, coach speak. Any more questions? He gave.
Did they really ask him that? They brought it to his attention.
He's brought it up a couple times. It's nothing really.
All right.
Like he's gonna light a fire in anyone's ass or flip over the catering table.
So the trenches belong to the Steelers.
Trenches belong to the Steelers. What about the weapons on the outside?
So Fields doesn't have a great connection with Allen Robinson for some reason. I mean, it's a contract year for the guy. I kind of feel bad. Weapons, I think Deontay has just an absurd game tonight because Ben already throws to him every single fucking play anyway. And Yeah, Bears are dead last against covering number one. So I think Najee can have a big night. I think fucking he can break out some big runs. I think he can fucking get out on the flat and beat people. I think Deontay has a big night. I love Freiermuth. I'm going to give the edge to Pittsburgh, shockingly.
Well,
I do love Herbert. Herbert's a fucking they don't have Tariq Cohen, but they sure as fuck found somebody that can play just like him.
so you like Steelers public, lean Steelers a little bit, not really enough to shake anything up in your mind, right? It was what, 53%?
Yeah, and then NFL.com, it's like 9 out of 10 or 8 out of 10 or something like that. And then I'm sure tonight on ESPN, they'll all pick the Steelers. It's just, I mean, it is what it is, dude. I can't let that. I keep like, oh, well, got to fade all the experts on ESPN every time, because then it just would never work. It doesn't happen as much as people think. Where they all take one side. Like last night, NBC, except for Mike Tirico, they all took the Rams, right?
Yep.
I mean, you look at that and like, oh, well, we'll just fade it. It just doesn't. That shit doesn't matter.
Well, this week, that's not the week to say that.
I understand, but it's more of like a human nature thing, letdown type games. Buffalo Bills going into Jacksonville type deal, where like, oh, we'll take care of business, and then all of a sudden, you don't. So I don't think it's Monday Night Football. I just can't see. There's got to be a game where Pittsburgh just says, hey, let's take care of this.
Color Rush Unis, Monday Night Football, primetime, Heinz Field will be rocking.
Nice.
That's the stuff that matters.
So what else? Who wins?
Who wins? Final answer.
I think it's a night where eventually you're going to have to get some interceptions for Pittsburgh. I think pressure on Justin. I think he'll make 2 or 3 really good running plays where like he gets out of pressure and we're going to be freaking out. But overall, it's such an obvious under game too, where it's just not going to go under 40. There's just no fucking way. Over under 40. I think everybody and their mother's like, oh well, we're going to take the under. I just can't see it, dude. So we're looking at anywhere from 14 to 17 for the fucking Bears, and then you need Pittsburgh to put up 24. They have to put up 24.
Are we buying that half point, moving it to 6.5?
I mean, I'll see what the juice is.
120.
I'll look at it.
Okay.
I mean, I personally would. I think tonight's a Pittsburgh blowout.
Which they've been known to do. That first half of last year, when they were playing inferior opponents, they could beat a team by a touchdown or two. It just got dicey at the end when they started playing tougher teams, and people were coming for them.
I mean, they were only averaging like 2.5, under 2.5 red zone appearances a game. They weren't driving the ball all that well, but since they've been running the football and having more balance with Najee, they have guys that can run the ball. I think they can run the ball tonight. Just run the ball a little bit, get the ball to Deontay, and I think they can be all right.
All right, Steelers win. Najee big night, Deontay big night, maybe a pick 6, fumble, scoop and score.
Eventually, you're going to have to win as a favorite.
Yeah.
Like, eventually.
Tell it to the Chiefs.
Well, that's
just covering. I guess they win. They just win ugly.
Well, this week they wouldn't have been overvalued. Like, the Vegas finally adjusted to them. It's just the fact that Rodgers got COVID and ruined that line.
Right. 1 touchdown, that was
insane. Right. So they over-adjusted for Jordan. Which tonight, I'm -7. You look at that and you think, Pittsburgh, there's no way they're covering 7. They're never going to cover. They're never going to cover a big number. It's just not going to happen. I think 7's not enough, but we'll find out. Unless they come out and they do normal Pittsburgh things and play down their competition, I think it's a tough night for Justin.
Well, hope you're right for my sake, because Justin Fields starts popping off. You're going to really give me hell.
Yes, I will.
Same thing if we had him and he went to shit. I know it's coming. This is going to be a terrible game.
Yep. All right. That's all I got.
All right, GG's. Go Steelers.
TJ Watt over 2.5 sacks. See ya.